जयो राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे
राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे
जयो नीताई गौरंगा निताई गौरंगा निताई गौरंगा जयो नीताई गौरंगा
निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग जय निताय गौरांग
जयो जयो प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 17th chapter, text number 18. Prajapatirnam tayorakarshi yaprag svadehadyamayorajayata tam vairanyakashipum vidhu praja यम तम हिरण्याक्षम असूत साग्रतः प्रजापतिर्नाम तयोर आकर्षी यप्राक् स्वादेहाद्यमयोरजायता तम वै हिरण्यकशिपुं विदुः प्रजा यम तम हिरण्याक्षम असूत साग्रतः प्रजापतिर्नाम तयोर अकार्षी यप्राक् स्वादेहाद्यमयोरजायता तम वै हिरण्यकशिपुं विदुः प्रजा यम तम हिरण्याक्षम असूत साग्रतः What meaning? Prajapati Kashyapa. Nama, names. Tayoho, of the two. Akarshid, gave. Ya, who. Prak, first. Swadehat, from his body. Yamayoho, of the twins. Ajhayata, was delivered. Tam, him, by, indeed, Hiranyakashipum, Hiranyakashipu, Viduhu, no, Prajaha, people, Yam, Tam, him, Hiranyaksham, Hiranyaksha, Asuta, gave birth to, Sa, she, Diti, Agrataha, first. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Kashyapa Prajapati, the creator of the living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who was first conceived by Diti he named Hiranyakashipu. Please repeat the translation. Kashyapa Prajapati, the creator of the living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who was first conceived by Diti he named Hiranyakashipu. Purport. There is an authoritative Vedic literature called Pinda Siddhi, in which the scientific understanding of pregnancy is very nicely described. It is stated that when the male secretion enters the menstrual flux in the uterus in two successive drops, the mother develops two embryos in her womb, and she brings forth twins in a reverse order to that in which they were first conceived. The child first conceived is born later, and the one conceived later is brought first. The first child conceived in the womb lives behind the second child. So when birth takes place, the second child appears first and the first child appears second. In this case, it is understood that Hiranyaksha, the second child conceived, was delivered first, whereas Hiranyakashipu, the child who was behind him, having been conceived first, was born second. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitiramane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Prajapatir namatayor akarshid yaprak swadehad yamayor ajayata tam vai hiranyakashipam vidup praja yam tam hiranyaksham asuta sagrataha. Kashyapa Prajapati, the creator of the living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who was conceived by Diti he named Hiranyakashipu. We can see here that how in our Vedic literatures all types of topics are covered. Knowledge in fullness. Knowledge about the Creator, knowledge about creation. Both are fully covered in the Vedic literatures. Modern science is only talking about creation. It covers only topics of this creation, but it doesn't cover anything about the Creator. There is absolutely no knowledge as to what is the source of the universe, where did it come from. And there is also very limited knowledge about the source of the creation. Even about creation also they have very limited knowledge. So, in this particular verse, Bhagavatam is talking about how the two sons of Kashyapa and Diti, they were born as twins, and although they are born as twins, the elder one is considered to be Hiranyakashipu and the younger one is considered to be Hiranyaksha. But the first baby which came out of the womb from the uterus of Diti was Hiranyaksha, and the second was Hiranyakashipu. But yet Hiranyakashipu is considered as the elder son. And that year it is being mentioned that Hiranyakashipu is considered elder because the first egg which conceived was of Hiranyakashipu. So the whole reproductive knowledge that our Vedic literature and science has is far more advanced than so-called modern science, because they could predict even when twins are there, which was the first conceived twin. I'm not sure if this kind of a technology or ability is there in modern medical science. Whichever child is born first is considered as the elder. In the twins, what child comes out first is considered as elder. But here that is negated. Here it is being said that the actual conception time is considered is the factor on which elder or younger is decided. Now, how do we, when the male semen and the female egg combine and fertilizes, then a new progeny is born. But in the semen of a man, millions of eggs and sperms are there. So which was the first one to conceive? Very, very difficult in modern science. I don't think so they will be able to identify which was the first and which was the second, especially when we have twin babies. But here it is mentioned that the Vedic science, they are able to predict or say for not predict, say for sure which was the elder and which was the younger, if there were twins born in a mother's womb, from a mother's womb. So this is very advanced. And Prabhupada here in this purport is saying there is a separate volume of literature called Pinda Siddhi, which gives us information about these gynecological details. I remember, nowadays I don't see that, there was a poster of Srimad Bhagavatam. BVT had made a poster. In that poster it is said, Srimad Bhagavatam contains knowledge about conception, knowledge about cosmos, cosmology, conception about knowledge about astrology, knowledge about various other streams of different streams of knowledge. So here Bhagavatam is giving us Shri Radha Krishna Chandra Shri Nitai Gauranga. Here Bhagavatam is giving us knowledge about the reproductive sciences. It's a big thing, no? In the modern world, gynecology is a very big subject. It's not a small subject. So much of complexity is there. It's a very, very vast subject. Medical graduates post their medical degree, there's masters and so many things to learn about only one small function of this human body. The reproductory parts of our body is one part. One segment of our body does this function. This body does so many functions. So many functions it has. Out of which one function is the liver does a particular function, the kidney does a particular function, the eyes does a particular function, the muscles does a particular functions. So many things. So like this, reproductory system of our body is an important aspect. So our Vedic literatures has got knowledge. I've thought about how this reproductory system functions. Due to lack of Vedic understanding, all these different streams of knowledge has been lost in current age and time. We have developed knowledge systems of all these different aspects, but it is incomplete because the Vedic system of so-called even material knowledge is not disconnected from the spiritual knowledge. Ultimately, the connection is always there. In the current Kali Yuga stream of knowledge, every knowledge is disconnected from the spiritual dimension, and that is asuric. Just like Nimai Pandit, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a young teenager, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started a school. He started his own school. That is why he was called Nimai Pandita. He was a Pandit, a teacher. And in Nimai school, Nimai Pandit used to teach Vyakhyana, grammar. So grammar, we have learnt noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, tense. All these different things are part of grammar. We were taught in school how to use, what is the idea of an adverb, what is the idea of an adjective, what is the idea of present tense, what is the idea of a past tense. Teachers have taught us. What is present tense? Teacher has taught us. How do you give an example of a present tense? So teacher has told her, he is doing the job. that is present tense. He was doing the job, that is past tense. He will do the job, that is future tense. He is very good at his job. What is very? Very is a what? Adjective. Because job means the work. Very means describing the nature of job. It is explaining the job. So very is an adjective. Now Nimai Pandit, in every of these things, even in teaching present tense, past tense, future tense, verb, adjective, everything was made spiritual. He would add elements of Krishna consciousness into teaching these so-called mundane verbs. In the schools when we used to learn, it was such a boring subject. But Nimai Pandita used his Vyakhyana, his school of grammar, to explain Krishna consciousness through grammar. Similarly, all streams of life, like for example, we learned physics, we learned social studies in school. Was our teacher teaching us social science or social studies from a Krishna conscious perspective? No. Was our teacher teaching theory of optics through Krishna conscious dimension? Was our teacher who was teaching the benzene structure teaching us the benzene structure through Krishna conscious dimension? But actually Srimad Bhagavatam, our Vedic literatures, teach all these dimensions. They teach everything, whether it is chemistry, whether it is physics, whether it is maths, whether it is literature, everything is taught from the Krishna conscious dimension, from the spiritual dimension. That is called Vidya. That is why it is called Vidya Bhagavatavadi. Bhagavatam is called Vidya. Vidya Bhagavatavadi. The ultimate culmination of all knowledge is Bhagavata. So if we learn Bhagavatam very thoroughly, then whatever occupation we are doing, we may be doing gynecology, we may be doing social studies, we may be doing engineering, we may be doing anything. Everything appears to us from Krishna conscious platform. We will be able to perform all these activities from Krishna conscious platform. You are doing business, how to earn money. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam very, very nicely, very scrutinizingly, then you will learn the art of doing business from a spiritual dimension. What Rupa Goswami has given the knowledge is not Rupa Goswami's invention. The art of dovetailing, which is the main crux of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Our Gaudiya Vaishnava's main stamba, main pillar of our philosophy is what? Is actually dovetailing our activity in connection with Krishna. Doing all activities, whatever we are doing, how we can connect it with prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastunaha. The ultimate, there's no, like for example, what is in all our Vaishnava, the most distinctive aspect of the Gaudiya Sampradaya is what? We can connect everything to Krishna. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastunaha. This is prapanchikatika. That is, all this prapanchikataya means all material things. All these material things can be converted into hari sambandhi vastunaha. We can connect it with Hari Sambandha. Then it doesn't become just Prapanchikataya. This is the core. This is the core of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. A devotee means what? A devotee means he learns the art of converting material to spiritual, material to Krishna conscious activity. This is the core. More mature devotee means more is able to make everything material into spiritual. That is Krishna's, when we say Krishna consciousness, actually that is the chamatkar of Krishna. The magic of Krishna is what? The magic of Krishna is everything, achetaha, anything which doesn't have any chetana amsha, by Krishna's touch, it becomes chetana amsha. Achetana amsha becomes chetana amsha. If you have seen, there is a scene in that Krishna movie, very nice, beautiful scene that is. If you have observed carefully, in the Krishna movie, where Krishna kills, in the episode of Krishna killing Kaliya. Now, in that there is one scene where after Krishna kills the Kaliya, Krishna comes out of the water of Yamuna. And when Krishna walks out of the Yamuna, they saw a scene. All the plants, all the trees, everything have dried and it is fallen down like that. All the boys, everybody have just sleeping. Then just Krishna comes, and as soon as Krishna's lotus feet touches everything, immediately everything becomes full of life. It immediately acquires the beautiful, like the tree suddenly starts waking up. So Krishna is the touchstone. You bring Krishna, lifeless things achieve life. Chinta mani prakara satmashu kalpa vriksha laksha vrateshu surabhi rabhipalayantam. We sing this in the Brahma Samhita prayers. Krishna is that touchstone. He can infuse energy into everything. Krishna infuses energy. That is why Dhruva prayers, Yo anta pravishta mama vacham imam prasuptam sanjeeva yat akila shakti dharasvadamna anyam sahasta charanam swagadhim pranan namo. Krishna is saying, Dhruva Maharaj is saying, Yo anta pravishta mama vacham imam prasuptam. The Lord within my heart immediately awakens all my senses and gives my senses the energy that is required. And with those infused energy, I am able to talk so many things. So, our activities should become inspired by Krishna. Hare Krishna Mahamantra can give us that potency. If we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Nama Chintamani Rasa Vigraha, the holy name is defined as Nama Chintamani Rasa Vigraha. It will give you, it is the touchstone which will give you all kinds of rasa, the pleasure, that spiritual pleasure. In the material world, all pleasure is being experienced by these blunt senses. When you say blunt senses, like for example, supposing if you have a nice mango, you want to eat that nice mango. But if your knife is blunt, it is not sharp, then what will happen? You will not be able to remove the skin. So you have rasa. In this material world, there is rasa. But if you are trying to experience that rasa through these senses, it is the same situation wherein you are trying to cut a mango with a sharpless knife, with a very blunt knife. So you are doing all these things, then you will get fed up. Hey, what is this knife? Then you will try to go eat it with your mouth. That time the skin also will go into your mouth. Then what is happening? I wanted to taste that pure taste of the mango. So actually, when you chant, when you engage in spiritual activity, you are infusing an energy into yourself to experience spiritual pleasure. So it's a very big science. How to get back that spiritual connection. So modern science, because they have missed this very crucial aspect of spiritual connection, it appears to be very, very incomplete. They will tell we made this big development, but again very soon you start realizing this is not really any breakthrough thing. Medical science has found so many medicines, so many things, but yet disease is there. They are not able to cure fully a disease. Anything. If we sincerely practice Krishna consciousness, then there is a whole market for us that is open. There is a huge market. Like for example, in the material world, they are always seeing where is the market available. We have a market. We have market. We can redevelop all these different. We can develop physics from the spiritual dimension. We can develop chemistry from the spiritual dimension. All these things can be done. But right now we cannot do it, because right now let us first make people chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then we will go into all these things. We don't have the time for all these things. But if there are large number of devotees, so some devotees can, like Prabhupada did that. When Prabhupada had so many devotees, this one he said, let some devotees do research only. He said, let them learn physics, chemistry, and do research, and then prove that how Krishna consciousness or spiritual dimension is the source of all truth. He established the Bhaktivedanta Institute. Prabhupada even said politics also we should do, but then Prabhupada realized we don't have the ability right now. So he said, don't do it right now. We get into that, we'll become, rather than giving politics a Krishna conscious dimension, we'll also become material politicians. Instead of giving association, we will take association from them. So he said, please stay far away from them. Because they are so strong. Politics is like that. Like Prabhupada used to always say, first you save yourself, then you save others. So you should also know, if you are, Prabhupada used to say, don't imitate Haridas Thakur. Supposing if one woman like the beautiful prostitute who came to sway Haridas Thakur, and if we also go and say, I will also liberate all the prostitutes, and I go and sit and start talking to them, what will happen? We will become a victim of that person rather than trying to save. So we should not do. It is not for us. We are not having that spiritual strength. Our spiritual potency is weak, so we cannot imitate such kind of exalted people and exalted activities. But the potential is there. The potential is there. Just like in this verse, they are explaining the first conceived was Hiranyakashipu and the second was Hiranyaksha. But Hiranyaksha came out first. Yeah, obviously the first conceived becomes first, and then behind that the baby next it. So obviously the second one comes out first. So like this, Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very interesting. So if we read, scrutinizingly read, not just for the sake of it, read and think about it. What is Shukadev Goswami trying to say? Think about it. Reread it again. Then our intelligence will become very, very refined. We will have very refined intelligence. Stop here if there's any question, comments. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.